What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. Oh, I guess it ain't no title, but yeah, my bad. My son woke up and I had to jump off. It's part of everything I do. Um, my whole being, man, is for first is for my family. I'm a family first type person. That's how I was raised. That's how I believe life should be. You know that we have responsibilities, especially when we bring life into this world. We have the responsibilities to nurture that life, protect that life, to take care of that life. So, I enjoy doing this YouTube thing, but I do it for my family. So I'm family first. That's just the type of person I am. I drop everything, anything for my babies, for my family. So, but I do apologize because me coming on here making a content and people actually utilizing their time to come, chat with me, share information. I have a responsibility to y'all too. Um, but that's just how I am. I'm family first. Kalani, what up, brother? I appreciate you, Kalani. Um, yeah, I had to jump off, man. My thing one. I call my kids thing one and thing two. Thing one woke up and as a father, I'm a new father too. So all this is new to me. But growing up, I didn't have my biological father, so um, I make sure that I spend as much time with my kids. I nurture my son. I show him love. I do everything for my babies. So yeah, that's my pride and joy. And I think people take that for granted. You know, some people just have kids and they there. And maybe growing up with without a father gave me a different insight on. I learned how, and then my stepfather was, he was. I don't like talking negative about anybody, but he was trouble. He had issues that he had to work out, so he couldn't be there for me in the same manner that I'm there for my son. I don't know why my soundboard keep disconnecting. It's the Bluetooth on it. Maybe I should hook it up with the wire. I don't even know if you can still hear me. But yeah, my father, and then I don't hold any resentment towards any adults because it's not fruitful. It's nothing. Me personally, I won't get nothing out of holding any grudges or pain or any resentment. Um, for like my father or my stepfather, I won't. If I hold any pain or resentment in, it's not going to do nothing positive for me. So I've learned to let things go. And like I said, my father was young when he had me. He was 16. So he ain't know nothing. He was still a kid. My grandmother, I was blessed to have a grandmother who took the responsibility of bringing me up until my mother and father was in a position to take care of me. So I was truly blessed. But yeah, like my stepdad, he had demons he had to fight, and he was trouble. So I learned from the experiences that I had with him. I learned from him. I learned how not to treat my son. I learned what I shouldn't do. So even in that sense, I appreciate now that I'm older. When you're going through stuff, you don't look at it that way. But now that I'm older, I realize that I was shown what not to do and how not to raise a boy or my son. 'Cause my stepfather, like I said, he had his own issues that he's still dealing with. And like I said, I don't blame nobody for the past. The past is there for us to learn from. If we hold on to that anger, that pain, that resentment, the things that happened in the past, it will affect us in our future. And not only it'll affect us, it'll hinder our growth. It'll hinder and prevent us from achieving things, desires, joy. it'll prevent us from achieving those things. And it's not easy, especially when you had trauma in your past, to just let it go. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, learn from it. You can learn very valuable lessons from your pain, the things that you've been through in life. You can learn very valuable lessons in that. It just don't have to take control of you and damage you. It can make you stronger. It is a process. With me, I had what worked for me was studying and practicing different various religions. I can't even tell you one of them. Like, not, I had to study all of them. It wasn't just one that helped me. It was practicing and understanding all of them. But the things that work for me won't work for everybody else. That's why mainly I don't come on here talking about religion or spiritual practices. What I learned from them, what I utilized, what helped me, that's what I come and talk. And a lot of it was me understanding that I was much more than my flesh. We like to say, um, we believe in religion and we believe in the spiritual practices, but I tell you one thing that a lot of people don't do. They don't work on a soul, or what they understand as a soul, or the inner you. And that's a part of you. A lot of times when you get those emotions, depression, it's because we haven't did that soul work. We haven't worked on our inner self. And when I began to do that, things not only start making sense, but when I fixed my inside, the things on the outside became a lot easier, a lot more understandable. I seen things for what they truly were. A lot of times we go through stuff and we don't understand where the emotions coming from, because we are disconnected from the inner us, our soul, our spirit, our ka, our ba. Um, we don't even know. We're not taught these things, you know. So that's why I choose to come on here and speak about the mindset, because the way we think is a huge part on why we do the things we do. If you had, if you came up in a Pacific environment, I gave an example. I grew up in a backwoods town in Pennsylvania. Like, when I say backwoods town, it was the equivalent to the country, like literally in the woods. And I was around a bunch of older people. So that's why, like, when I talk to people, they be like, "You got an old soul," because I grew up around all older people. I had all elders. It was kids around, but the majority of my time was spent with older people. So I picked up a lot of their ways growing up. And when I moved to the city, it was a shock, because I was so used to everything being so slow and simple. But in the city, everything moved fast. It's hustle, bustle. Everything moved fast. So um, the environment was different. So the way I grew up thinking, I had to adjust it to my new environment, because there's a lot of times, like growing up around older people, community, you share everything. Everything you share. And growing up in the city, you couldn't share everything. The more you shared, the more they took. You was weak. Being nice and kind in the area I grew up, just being nice and kind to people, that was a sign of weakness, and people took advantage of that. And it took a while for me to adjust to that. And doing that, when I got older, it kind of hardened me. And I had to go back to the way I was, especially when I moved out the environment, because it's not conducive to go around looking at everybody thinking about if they go take advantage of you, or they go abuse you, or they go hurt you. But in the hood I grew up in, that was natural. That was the way of survival. So it took me a while to adjust to that. But having both of those experiences, honestly, it gave me balance because now I was aware of people are willing to take advantage of you, or people will take advantage of you. You know, people take your kindness for weakness. Now I'm aware of that. I'm experienced with that. But I also had an experience of the community where people help one another, where people build with one another. So having both of those experiences, I know they both exist. But a lot of people don't have, are not blessed to have certain experiences, have that community, have that love. They never experienced it. So when they go out into the world, they don't even know it exists. It's like a fairy tale or a myth because they've never experienced it. And when they begin to experience it, a lot of time they don't know how to handle it. You know, I've dated women who told me after the fact that we broke up, like, you were too good to be true. I just thought eventually you would take advantage of me or do this and do that. That's why I did this. But now I understand that's just how you are. But because of the things that transpired, I learned and I moved forward. So it's like I can't go backwards. Even though you telling me you see me for what I am now, I can't go backwards because I can't be sure that you won't. You showed me who you are. And if you grew from that experience, that's great. So moving forward, you know that there are good people out there. There are good men out there who willing um, to not only dedicate themselves to you, but let's go be in your corner 24/7. There's men out there like that. There's women out there like that. Like just because the experiences that I had with women, it didn't hurt me. You know, if it did, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have even been open to my wife. If I let the past experiences affect me to the point where I felt all females are like the ones I dealt with, I wouldn't have gave my wife a chance. I would have missed the opportunity. You know, so having a balance is good because, like I said, you don't want to walk around being closed off to the world because of some bad experiences that you had with people, and that happens a lot. It happens to a lot of people, and then you become the same thing that turned you or to hurt you. You know, if you start off as a loving, giving, caring person, and someone hurts your feelings, if someone abused you, if someone just totally took advantage of you, and you think the whole world is like that, you'll miss your blessings. You'll miss that one person willing to give you everything that you're willing to give them. This is just my opinion and my theory, but when you encounter people and they intentionally hurt you, I just feel like their attempt is not only to hurt you, but to corrupt you. Especially when you know you're a good person or you know that person is a good person. I think they get off on, like I said, corrupting you, making you feel like the whole world looks at you like this, or makes you feel like the whole world is like this, the way they are, and it's not. And that's why you can't let people corrupt you. You can't do it. You know, the world is ugly, but it's beautiful at the same time. You know, those bad experiences that we go through is all about perception. It's how you choose to look at it. And I'm gonna say that again. It's how you choose to look at it. Any bad experience that you go through, the way I look at experiences that I determine or deem bad is this: it's helping me define what I actually want by giving me what I don't. That's how I look at it. That's simply how I look at it. I tell my wife that all the time. You know, she get to this phase where when one bad thing happened and another thing happened and another thing happened, I tell her that's because that's what you're focusing on. Bad things keep happening because you're looking for them to happen, and when you stop looking for them to happen, you won't see them. You'll begin to see the good things. But if we solely focus and preparing ourselves for bad things to happen, you won't see the good things. You won't see them opportunities for good things to happen to you. It'll be hard. It's hard because, like I said, you stuck in a motion of negativity. So um, the thing that you go be aware of is negative. And it could be good stuff happening around you, and you would not see it. And sometimes even those good things that's happening around you, you'll be thinking that's too good to be true. That's how negativity corrupts us. It slowly drains all the positive things out of us. And sometimes we get to the point where we begin to start looking at life as negative. We can sit here probably for the next 2 hours, talk about all the bad things that happen in life, things that we seen on TV, things that we seen on YouTube. Very rarely do we talk about the good things that happen. I was having a discussion, I think it was yesterday, and one of the guys was telling me about an 18-year-old who became politician in the state. Those stories aren't really shown because they inspire people. It gives people hope of change, hope that they can become more than what they are. That's what those stories do. So no, those stories aren't televised. Those stories, and if they are, it's short. And then after that, they give you all this negative stuff. The easiest way to control someone is to keep them in a negative mindset, and a lot of that is fear. They fear is a weapon. It's not only an emotion. Fear has been weaponized to the point where, um, even going outside, we fearful of what we can catch. They got that thing going around for the last couple of years. I even tell my wife, like, well, I don't want to go around a lot of people because I don't know who got what. That's fear. That's fear. And now it's preventing me from going out and living my life. That's a form of control. And there's a lot of stuff done like that. Even if you think about, like, when they talk about the hood. Yeah, I grew up in the hood, and I'm gonna tell you, it's some things that happened, but it was some beautiful things in the hood. I remember when we used to crack the fire hydrant open and ride our bikes to it. The whole block. We used to have block parties, everybody chilling, barbecuing, having fun. Um, like I said, it was fun in the hood. It was some bad stuff that happened. It's bad stuff that happened everywhere, though. I'm in the suburbs now. A couple months ago, 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear a helicopter over my house. And I'm like, what the hell going on? Looking out the window, seeing cop cars go up and down the street. It was a young white dude killed this lady, threw her in the back of the pickup truck, hit a pole, jumped out the car and ran. And just so happened to run down my street, and they was looking for him. It made the news a couple days later. Well, it's stuff like that happen in the suburbs all the time. But they make you fear the hood. And like I said, it's places everywhere on this earth that's unsafe. And honestly, it's usually areas hit or stuck in with I'm sorry, but it's usually areas that struggling with poverty. Where people are in literally survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you do whatever you got to do to survive. If you're hungry, you see somebody eating, that survival mode kick in. You might crack them over the head for their food. When people are put in a state of survival, is they go do whatever they have to, just like an animal. They go do whatever they have to do to survive. So those areas, no, don't go in. But then you think about it like this too. If we got billionaires in this country, why do we even have areas like this? Why are there areas where people have to live like this if people got enough money that they'd never ever be able to spend Generations of their family won't be able to spend that money. You can't, when you die, you don't go with the money. So why can't these people build these areas up? To have rich people, you need poor people. That's just what it is. That's just the reality. To have rich people, you need poor people. That's the law of duality. It's the two extremes on the same pole. Just like you can't have good if you don't have evil. And it sounds messed up the way I'm saying it, but it is what it is. That's just reality. That's how everything operates. You can't have one without the other. So if you have rich people, you're gonna have poor people. But I don't know who all in here. But I'm gonna drop the link. I ain't really got nothing to build on. I did a video earlier on why I don't debate or talk about religion. And it's not that I don't debate it. I like having discussions because I think everybody's perception is fruitful. Everybody got a unique way of looking at things. So, like in conversations about religion or spirituality, I love having those conversations. I just don't like getting into debate because a lot of times this is what I find just from personal experience. Um, when people don't know stuff, their next step is to start throwing insults. Um, and so there's no point if I have to have a conversation with somebody and insult them. There's no point in me having a conversation. That's not my intent. That's not my code. That's not how I live. I mean, I cuss a person out of my head, but I don't want to I don't want to talk down to nobody. I don't want to say things and that's just me. I'm not saying people who do it is wrong. I'm just saying me personally. We all got a path and a way to live, and it's just not conducive to my growth for me to engage in debates or even like I roast Nate. Me and Nate roast all the time, but it's in good intentions. I'm not saying nothing to try to break them down. Even Craig, the little community that's built, I joke with him all the time. It's 504. I joke with her all the time, but it's never to degrade them. It's never to insult them. It's all good and fun. I talk about myself like I'm legally blind for real, and I joke about myself all the time. My family joke about it. You know, um, to me, it's funny. I can laugh at my pain. But if someone tries to insult me, then we got a problem. You know, so I try not to engage in that, and I don't do it because I don't leave myself open. When we do stuff like that, we leave ourselves open for it to be done to us. You know, a lot of times I see people complain about things that they do when other people do it to them, and I be thinking like, but you do it, so why are you getting upset that it's done to you now? And I used to do it. I used to do things, and then when people do it to me, I'd be like, it don't feel good. Well, the reason it don't feel good is because you do it. You do it, and now it's being done to you, and you don't like it. And instead of stop doing it, they up the ante. They up the ante. This is how I look at life, and I say us as human beings, we complicate life so much. Right? If I'm not getting along, or if I don't like someone, I just stay clear of them. I don't have to go attack them. I don't have to destroy them. I just stay clear of them. You're not go click with everybody. That's just not gonna happen. I mean, there's people on here that I felt like, oh, I can build this person, have a good relationship with this person, but I guess our personalities don't match, and that's okay. That don't make them bad people. That don't make me a bad person. It's just you're not gonna get along with everybody. You're not gonna mesh with everybody. and that's okay. But just because you don't get along with them, don't mean you have to be rude. Don't mean you have to be ignorant. You don't have to. If you have a desire to hurt someone, um, you need to take a look inside yourself. If you have a desire to hurt someone, you got to look inside yourself first before you even look at the person. We all got pain and anger, and a lot of us walk around with it from since childhood, and we don't know how to let it go. We don't know how to dispense this. We don't know how to be at peace with a lot of things. But when we take that out on other people, sometimes you get a temporary relief. You feel good for a minute. But then what happens is you need somebody else to take it out on. Then it's going to be somebody else. And then it's going to be somebody else. We don't do enough what I call inner work. We don't heal from a lot of things that we encountered in life. We don't become whole. And sometimes, and that what we go through in our childhood, a lot of times we carry that on to our adulthood. And not only do we carry it on, when we have kids, we end up giving our children that same trauma that we had because we haven't got over it. We'll pass that along. And that's one thing I didn't want to do with my kids. I didn't want them to suffer. What the Bible say, that the son will suffer from the sins of the father. I didn't want that for my kid. So I had to change. That's one of my desires. I wanted to be a better person. And that's before I had kids. I just got tired of being angry. I got tired of being hurt. I got tired of not feeling fulfilled. I got tired of it. So I did something about it. And that desire wouldn't allow me to stop seeking answers until I found them. Ignorance sometimes can work for you because I was ignorant as hell. There was no way I wasn't going to fix what was wrong with me. No matter how long it took, no matter how many books I had to read, no matter how many places, lectures I had to sit into, I was going to fix myself because the professionals who were supposed to do it, they couldn't do it. It wasn't for them to do it. It was for me. It was my own path, my own journey. And that's another reason I don't talk about religion. I just share. I don't come on here trying to present myself as an expert in anything. I just share information. And the reason I do that is because I understood on my journey for enlightenment. There was a lot of people who invested time and information into me, a lot of different people. And they tried to show me their ways, and I tried to use their ways, and it didn't work. It wasn't until I decided to find my own way. And I understood my path is mine. And on the way, I picked up different things from different people, and it worked. And that's why, I tell people, um, find something that resonates with you, something that feels familiar. If you and try different things, expose yourself to different things. I was talking to a brother the other day, and he was telling me what the Bible said about all these other religions. And I said, that's a book, written thousands of years before you were even here. And that's a person's perception. If you don't expose yourself to it, you never know for yourself. You just going off a book that was written before you got here. I mean, I'm going to stay away from that. But this is what I'm saying. Um, you have to experience things to know what you resonate with. I used to hate honey mustard sauce. The smell of it made me nauseous. But once I ate it, I'm like, oh, this is good. But it took me 20 plus years to even eat it. But until I experienced, I didn't know what I liked. There's a lot of things like that. Like my wife, I don't know where y'all at, but they got this thing called the Renaissance Festival, right? Where they take you back to medieval time. And I'm gonna be raw and funky with you. When she first told me about it, I'm like, man, I'm black from the hood. I ain't doing that shit. No, what are you doing? Come out the cage. Why are you in the cage? You don't have to be in the crate, baby. Oh, they locked you in? They locked my dog in our crate. But yeah, back to the Renaissance Festival. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, man, I'm not. That sounds like some white people shit. I'm not doing that. And no offense against white people. It was just, I used to pick with my wife like that. Like I'm from the hood. We don't do stuff like that. And let me tell you, when I went there, I had a fucking blast. I had a ball. Next time we went, I done bought a costume. And yes, yes, yes. Your boy dressed up for the Renaissance Festival. I got like this pirate look going on, right? But yeah, it's fun. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but now that I experienced it, I enjoy it. And it became something that we do every year. Life is about experiences. And you don't know what you like until you experience it. And if you're not risking your life for an experience, you should take it. Like um, I messed around with women outside my race, and I'm black. Well, that's how I'm identified as African American. I messed around with women outside, but I never got serious, like a serious relationship with no women outside my race until I met my wife. And even at first, when we first met, I was kind of reluctant. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to get serious because, I mean, you always think what other people will think, you know, family, friends, society in general. And then I thought about like, what is her people gonna think of me, you know? But I took the chance, and none of that stuff mattered because the experience that I had with her outweighed all that. It made all that doubt or uh, potentially what other people would think. All that shit went out the window, man. None of that shit mattered. Even to this day, I say it all the time, but I've been kicked out of groups where I was helping young, unfortunate black youths because my wife is not black. And they felt that since my wife is not black, I couldn't have good intentions for the black race. This is the hate and separation people have. So even though I'm giving my time for free to help unfortunate kids because you're uncomfortable with someone that you don't never have to see. Y'all don't never have to see my wife. My wife is not helping out volunteering as me. But you think because my wife is not black that I don't have good intentions for black kids. I was a black kid, bro. I got black kids in my family. My mother's black. My sister's black. My kids now they half black. So how can I not having good intentions for a race of people that I belong to? And I understand because I know personally black people who hate their own race and date outside their race for that specific reason. So I understand that. But what I'm saying is, why would you judge me on the actions of another man? Is that not what we live with as black people? That stereotype, that stigma. So why would you do it to me? When you can clearly see my intentions. I'm not saying it. Look at what I'm doing. I'm volunteering my time. I never asked for anything in return. But because you're uncomfortable. But the same person who told me that got three different baby mamas. And his kids ain't with this program. They with their mama. Their mama raising them. So who's really more detrimental to the black race? A man who has kids by multiple black women and don't raise them, or me? Like at the end of the day, who's really more detrimental? I had it's a I'm not gonna say no name, but at the time I was doing real estate. It was I don't even know what you want to call him. It was a famous person looking for schools, and I just so happened to be in Michigan, and there was a couple schools that could have been utilized. But when this man found out that, and at this time I wasn't even married. Yeah, I was married. Um, I guess he looked at my Facebook profile and seen, my wife. He seen the wedding pictures. I got married that March. I made contact with him in July. But when he seen that, my wife was non-black, he told me I couldn't help him. He told me I couldn't help him. He didn't want my help. And I couldn't do nothing but be understanding. I'm trying to help you out. I actually got, I know, I actually knew my brokerage knew one of the people we were selling one of the schools. My brokerage was selling, and my broker knew the person who was selling it. So I could have got a good deal and everything on it, but nope. And then when my broker heard that, she said nobody in his office can work with him. But that's what I'm saying. People will find reasons to keep you separated or to separate themselves from people. People will find reasons. And it's unfortunate and it's sad, but it happens. It definitely happens. Um, and that bothered me for a while. Like people telling me that I can't even be considered pro-black because of my wife, and I understand what they were saying. But then you see some people in that movement, and it's like, how can you say I'm not pro-black when the things you have done in the past and the things you're currently doing is hurting black people? The decisions you make, the way you're going about business, you're hurting people. You separating more people than you bringing together. But I'm a bad influence. I'm not. I don't fit the. I don't fit the bill, and that's how I be. You know, I look at people for what they are. I just look at people for what they are. It don't matter what race they are. I don't care what spiritual beliefs they are. I believe that there are good people and bad people. They come in all shapes and sizes, colors, beliefs. They come in all different varieties. They good or bad. And I would prefer to be around good people than bad people. We can talk history. I can talk history all day. I had to know what happened, and I'm still learning. Still a lot of stuff I got to learn. Um, but I can tell you this. I can definitely tell you this. Um, in my lifetime, I have had more help outside of my family. I had more help from white people than I have from black people. And that's just my personal experience in life. I had more help from white people than I have from black people. Any business that I went to, it's like I had to, when I was doing real estate, selling life insurance, I had to convince people who look like me that I was qualified to do it, even though I had the credentials and everything, that I was smart enough to do it. I had to convince them that. But white people, I do the same thing, give them the same information, the same credentials, and they was ready to rock and roll. always like that. For me, my personal experience, you know. Um, Even when I had my personal training company, it was more white people. My self defense company, it was more white people who came to me. My own people wouldn't even support me. My family did. Family always support me, no matter what I do. You know, family always support me. But I'm talking about outside my family. Always been supported more by white people. So it's kind of hard for me to be racist, or me to look at a race of people um, and say they bad when they only been good to me. And I'm not saying all white people, because I had encounters with racists, or I don't say racist. I had encounter with prejudiced people, just like I had encounter with black people who didn't like black people. You know, like I said, it's good or bad people. It's good or bad. But I think, but just my personal experience, I never, I haven't encountered many. I haven't encountered a lot of people who, because of a race or a belief or a practice, that hated me because of I wasn't like them. That was outside my race. Like even the conflict. Like when I talk about religion to Europeans, they listen to me. They listen to me. They don't try to debate me. If they know more information than me, then they tell me that. Or if they got other things they want me to look at, they do that. But we don't get into a conflict. We don't get into a debate. We have a discussion. You know, it's always my people who I have conflict with. You know, and not all the time. Not all the time. But when I do have conflict, that's it's usually with my people, and that's sad. That's sad. But that's why I don't do the prejudice thing. Like we can talk about genetics, we can talk about history, we can do all that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you this: it's two type of people on this planet: good people and bad people. And if you keep yourself separated from a person because of their spiritual beliefs, because of their race, if that's what separates you from a person, then you missing out. Even sexuality. You know, I don't. You know, I like women. I love my wife. Um, but I'm not gonna sit up here and say because somebody like the same sex that they're bad people. I'm not gonna say that because that's not a fact. That's just simply not a fact. If you don't agree with the way they choose their life or live their life, that's fine. You don't have to live their life. You know, if you if you a man and you don't believe men should be with other men, that's your belief and you're entitled to that. You know, that's your belief, but that doesn't make a person who choose to live their life like that don't make them bad people, man. It don't. At the end of the day, it really don't. It don't make them bad people. That's just what they choose to do. Now, I would say this: other people's belief, just like religion, should not be pushed onto other people. You should not have to accept nothing that you don't want. I don't believe in that. You know, so like forcing kids to learn about same-sex marriage in school, I don't think that's the school's responsibility, nor is it the school place to teach that. That's something that should be taught at home when the parents deem is right to teach. That shouldn't be forced on kids. That I will stand up and talk about all day, every day. But just because somebody chooses the same sex, let the people live their life, man. It shouldn't affect you. That shouldn't affect you how other people, what other people choose to do in their own bedroom. That should not affect you. And if it do, you got to look at yourself. You know, I knew a guy. He talked about um, people who chose same-sex relationship. He talked about them all the time. 3 years later, look, I'm gonna tell you the story. So I was an older guy, always constantly, throwing the F word around, the gay word. I don't even really like saying gay because gay means happy, but throwing the gay word around, dropping the F bomb. And he asked me, one day to clear his search bar. And when I did, the first thing that popped up was male strippers. And I'm like, bro, why is you got male? And he was like, and I cleared it out. He said, oh, my cousin was looking at it. Then I go, he said, can you do it out of YouTube? I'm like, yeah. So go to his YouTube, and then it's the same thing. And I'm looking, and you can see the timestamp. I'm like, bro, you was over your cousin's house at 3 o'clock in the morning. Come to find out the dude like dudes. But why you bashing them so much, man? Why you bashing them so much? And this is what you want, or this is what you do secretly, but you bashing them. And that's a lot of times people do that stuff, man. Like I had a dude call me, homophobic because I didn't accept their beliefs. It's not. Don't ask me about is what you doing right or wrong if you don't want my opinion. I don't believe in it and I don't do it. So no, it's not right to me. But I'm not saying it's not right for you. But for me, no, I don't indulge in that. No, I'm not teaching my kids that. We have a structure and a way of life that's I'm gonna teach my kids. That's not it. And no, I'm not introducing it to my kids either. Once they get to a certain age, I'm gonna make them aware of it. But no, I'm not telling my child that's how to live. Or I'm not even telling my child that's an option for them. I'm not because it's not to me. Now, when they get older out of my house, they can do whatever they want to do. I can't do nothing. But as I'm raising them, I'm gonna raise them in the way I want to raise them. That's my responsibility. But I don't force. I'm not forcing nothing on nobody else. Ain't nobody forcing nothing on me. But a lot of times people hate the things that they are. A lot of times these dudes be doing that gay bashing. That's because secretly they are. Like that whole concept. I remember when that concept of down low came out. I was looking like, man, no. And now look at it. Now look at it. But it's dangerous because these dudes going around messing with other dudes and going back home to their wife. And you can take something back home, just like if you was messing with a female. Just like you was messing with a female. You know, I try to be 100 with people. I try to be as real as I possibly can, with people. This is just who I am. The way y'all get me on here, this is who I am. You hear people, my family, like I bring my family on here. You know, I brought my dad, my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law, my cousin, my best friend, and they gonna tell you this is just who I am. I'm not go fake. I'm not go front. Like you'll see, even the people who I got comfortable with over time on here, you see me interact with them differently. I'm playful. I'm joking. I'm comfortable with them. Until I get comfortable with somebody, I give them the blind. So a lot of times when I'm sitting up here talking, I'm just talking. You get if Platt come in here, if Nate come in here, you'll see me start joking more. My family come in here, you'll see me joking more. But other than that, when I'm talking to myself, and that's what I'm doing right now, nobody in the chat, so I'm just talking to myself. But this is it. I'm not entertaining it. I guess I could tell some funny stories. I don't really got a subject, but I think about life a lot, um, and I just try to share information. And the reason, like I said, I don't try to present myself as no authority figure, as no expert or nothing like that, because, like I said, what worked for me, if I get 10 people in the room and tell them exactly factual things or how things work, out of those 10 people, maybe one or two it'll work for. Because everything ain't for everybody. So even what I'm telling you about learning your emotions, really mastering your emotions, and it'll help change the way you think or the way you perceive things, it's not gonna work for everybody. That's why I try to get other people up here, have conversations that maybe if my way don't work, maybe a way of one of these other people, maybe it'll work for you. But like with me, I understand entertainment and all that, but it's enough of that on here. It's enough of the beefing. It's enough of the. I do want to do reactions. I think I'm gonna start doing reactions, but I'm not gonna do reactions to people content. I'm gonna react to world news and things that's happening in the world. I think I'm gonna start doing reactions to that. But like I said, until I gotta get a hold on my home life, because until then, I'm not gonna really be able to put out content the way I want to. But it's a process. I'm learning more stuff. I'm learning how to edit videos and cut up videos. And, it's just time. But I do enjoy coming on here talking and rapping with people. In the last couple of weeks, more and more people come to the page, so conversations got wider. Different perceptions, different way people look at life. I think that's what we should do as people. But I understand it's hard too because you don't know who to trust and who you can, let your guard down. Unfortunately, that's how society is now. People be afraid to get too close to other people, and that's understandable. Because that's how people get hurt is by allowing other people too close. You let the wrong person too close, that it can get ugly. It can get ugly fast too. Yeah, but I just wanted to just jump back on and have a little quick discussion. I thought some of my people was gonna come back, but change the title to this video. But yeah, I'm gonna bring more topics. I have a topic for tomorrow. I'll put some work into it. Um, I like coming up here just having random thoughts, random discussions though, because I just feel like it leaves the conversation open for anybody, and that's what my platform is for. It's different from a lot of other platforms. I'm actually, I like starting the conversations, but I like adding people to it. I truly believe everyone has a unique way to look at life, and I'm an information whore. So I like to talk to different people and get their perspectives because I learn from it. Sometimes people say things and don't understand how deep the meaning is. It happens a lot. Just the way they look at life, because people don't we don't build each other up. We don't do that. We don't compliment each other no more. Uh, we in constant competition with one another. So how can we build one another up? I mean, we think like on this YouTube app, right? If you think about, there's over 1 billion people on this planet. All those people, I say 90, 80, at least minimum 80% of those people have the capability to get on YouTube. So there's no way I can take someone else's subscribers from them. It's too many people. We get this notion, the way we look at things is if someone is doing something similar to us, that they can take our spot. There's enough room at the top for everybody. And I'll tell you this too. If you ever make it to the top of something and you don't bring people with you on that way down, all those people you was looking down on are gonna be looking down on you. And not many of them gonna be willing to help you get back up. If you going to the top, it's best to take people with you. Always better, because guess what? If you fall, those people you helped to the top, they be willing to help you back up there. They'd be willing to help you back up there. And like even I was told a long time ago, a leader is not a person who can tell people what to do or even put the people in the right place to do an effective job. A leader is one who can replicate their success in other people. So if I'm leading something, if I can't make people better than me or at least as good as me, I failed. I failed. Failed as a leader. You should be able to replicate your success. If you're that good at something, you should be able to teach it just as good. And if you can't, then you need to reevaluate yourself as that position. All of us ain't leaders, you know, but we all got roles. But all of us ain't leaders. I wish I knew who was in the bushes. You don't want to come out and say what up though. That one person that might be myself watching this. But yeah, this channel, this like Planet Fitness. You know, everyone's welcome here. I don't care if you. I'm gonna say this. I don't judge people from other people's perspective. I never have. That's never. I don't care how other people look at other people. I always been my own man who can form my own opinion. That's just how I always been. So even if you're watching in the bushes or watching it on playback and you feel because I'm supported or I support people who don't support you, that's not how I look at you. I just want to say that too because, like I said, I've always been my own man, and I talk positive and I talk sweet and all that, but I'm a man, and no one can influence me without me allowing them. And I'm very aware of how and what is influencing me. I am able to make my own decisions and make my own choices. I may take the advice of people, I may listen to people, but at the end of the day, I determine what I do and how I do things. So, bushwatchers, like I said, this platform is here. It's more like a church, a sanctuary. I come here to build. I will never talk about people unless I talk about them positive on my platform. So I'm not here to bash nobody. I will talk about situations because that's how we learn. That's how we grow. It's from things that happen. Um, I am a very advocate believer in personal accountability. So, um, but everyone is always welcome. As long as you come with good intentions, we have good conversations, we have fun. But I don't judge people on other people's opinions. If someone tell me something about somebody, uh, I understand, but ultimately I want to see for myself. Now, I've learned that because just because two people don't have a good experience don't mean I can't have a good experience with that person. You know, for me to judge someone predicated on someone else's perception, that's their mindset. That's the way they look at it. And like I said, you never know. There's too many variables. Something might occur between them and made this person do this or feel this way, but it'd be different with me. And sometimes, like, look, I'm not naive neither. I understand this. Sometimes people just show I believe in people who they are. I do look at people history. I will look at that. But I understand this too. People change, man. We don't give people opportunities to change. We don't really give that. We like to judge people. I seen. Shout out to Johnny Blaze too. You know, um, I really like that dude. He a throwback to me. He like a throwback man to me. He got a set of principles and beliefs, and he stick to them. And he ain't wavering from nobody. He believe in what he believe in, and that's what it is. So shout out to Johnny Blaze. Um, but I seen people bringing up his past, and I'm like, you talking about something from 2007? You trying to hold that over that man's head for what? Like, what sense does that make? Oh, this is who he is. That's like, bro, that's 16 years ago. Whatever it was, it happened 16 years ago. Like, you will hold stuff over my head from when I was 15? Well, that's just you. I'm straight. I don't care about that. I grew from it. That's everything I did in my past. I grew from it. I learned from it, and I wouldn't take it back because I wouldn't understand or know what I know if I didn't experience it. So no, I'm not ashamed of nothing I went through. I used to be because that's how society conditioned me. No, I made a mistake and I hated myself for it. And then people reminded me that I did it, and it was hard for me to grow past it. But when I stopped caring, I just stopped. I learned from it, and then once I learned from it, it wasn't no purpose for me to care. It happened. It is what it is. I moved on from it. You know, but no, we don't give each other enough chance to grow or to learn from the mistakes. People want to constantly throw people past up in their face. I hear it with women. You know, well, what's a woman's body count? Now, if she's still living promiscuously like that, then I understand. But if she was a phase in her life and she not like that no more, how you gonna hold that against her? How you gonna hold that against her? I think that's crazy. I think a lot of people do stuff to make themselves feel better about their shortcomings. I think that's just my opinion though. But I think that happened a lot. That's why I don't judge nobody because when I start thinking or judging a person, I always look at myself like, why am I doing that? Does that make me feel better about myself? Because I can say this person is fucked up. No, I don't. It don't do nothing for me. I feel people do a lot of stuff that don't benefit them. I think people do a lot of stuff that don't benefit them. They don't do enough to benefit. The less I look at it like this, I truly believe in energy, and I believe that focusing in your energy will bring you the things that you desire when you focus it. But a lot of times, what happens is people become unfocused and focus on other people's, and then they start sending energy that way. I'm not the energy that I can take to hurt someone or destroy something or attack someone. I can be using that to build myself up. That's how I look at it. My time is precious. And I think that's another thing. Like I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit in life, and I'm to the point now where I don't got time for things that don't benefit me. I just don't have time for it. Like even doing this YouTube thing, I appreciate art. I really do. I see some talented people, you know, displaying their art in the form of making content. Very talented people. And sometimes I wonder, like, damn, man, if you use this to build somebody up or to build yourself up or use this to focus on you instead of someone else, like, how magnificent would that be? I look at it like that. It's easy to tear something down, but it's hard to build. It takes more time, it takes more effort to do it the right way. To build something and make it sustainable, make it last for a long period of time, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes a lot of attention to detail. But to destroy something, that's easy. That's easy. It's easy to tear something down and rip it apart. I try to be the best creator I can be, but it takes time. Like if I made this a beefing channel, probably would have had close to 1,000 subs already. But building it this way, it's gonna take time. I probably never reach 1,000 subs, and that's cool because ultimately, I would like, but still, I'm still gonna put out the information. I'm gonna start putting different types of information up, like different types of content, different videos. I'm gonna have different people come up here Football season over. I think it'll be fun to get my cousin up here. He played for the New York Jets. Number three, Jordan Whitehead. Do a little interview with him. Try to get some of his buddies up here. He got a nice little circle, especially people from Pitt. He was real good friends with Damar Hamlin, a young man who collapsed on the field for the Bills. Real good friends with him. Um, I'm gonna try to get them up here. I got a lot of other connects. You know, I'm gonna bring them on here. So I'm gonna bring different content, but it's a slow roast. It's gonna take time to build to a point where others can build. But if I do it the right way, like I said, it'll be sustainable. Because even talking and being cool with some of the content creators who do the beef, they done told me like, I gotta do it every once in a while because that's what people came for. But then the good information they put out, they don't get the numbers. So I had a couple of them tell me like, don't get into it, don't do it at all, because what's gonna happen is people will come over there, you'll see your numbers go up. But when you ain't doing it, then you gonna see where you're real, and then you gonna turn people off that you already attracted to you. So, well, that was never my intent, but they just giving me the heads up, like don't get into none of that. And I thought that was cool. You know what I'm saying? It's a shift. You know, even the content creators are getting tired of it. Just hearing different content creators I'm not cool with. Like, I want to do something else. I want to go another direction. But it's hard when that's how you built your channel. That's kind of hard because most of the people coming there, that's what they coming for. And then now you didn't get sucked into it. And I feel like you got to deliver, so you got to do it. So that's why I steer away from it. I mean, I feel I don't like conflict in general. Like I said, I've been through so much shit in life. I'm not trying to go through nothing else, especially on the internet. I'm straight, man. Like I'm lucky to be here. I'm blessed to be here. So I'm not gonna utilize that time hurting other people, beefing with other people. I'm straight. That's no knock against nobody else. I'm just saying that that's for me. You know, to be 100% honest with you, I don't really care how nobody live their life. It doesn't do nothing for me personally. You know, the people I care about, I want them to do good in life. I do. I'm willing to help and I'm willing to do everything. What I'm talking about, I know sometimes when I talk, I be so bland when I say things, but what I'm talking about, when I say I don't care what nobody do in life, is I don't put energy behind things that's not fruitful. So if someone decides to come on here and show their ass, that ain't got nothing to do with me. If I participate in it, then yeah, then it's me. That's my choice. But I don't even do that because I rather spend my time in areas where I'm getting positive vibes, where I'm getting information. Um, that's where I rather spend my time. I found myself being in a lot of these like promotion growth areas where they play music, you know, and it's just good vibes, man. Kalani, um, I love Kalani's channel, you know, Miss Queen, I love her channel. She promote and she do her cooking and her shopping. It's just like a vlog, but it's fun. Death Mage. Oh my god, I love watching her. I don't usually watch gaming channels, but when she play the game, she be having me rolling. Like places to make you feel good. That's the environments you should want to go into. And some of these chat, like I said, these people are awesome creators. They don't do a lot of numbers though. They don't. But that's when quality versus quantity. Like even this, like I was joking with Nate earlier saying I don't got no trolls. You know what? I feel he was like, "Oh, don't wish that on you. It'll come." But I was like, "Damn, I do want a troll or two. It'll make me feel like a real YouTuber." But nah, I'm straight. I don't want no troll. I rather have people in here who listening to the message, growing from the message. But like I said, we all need entertainment. I watch sports, so I understand. A lot of times, like I'm not gonna lie, I watch Johnny Blaze every morning, and I be cracking up. I don't be in the chat talking about nobody or nothing like that, but man, Johnny got that voice, man, and when he snap, it's funny, you know. But no, I don't participate when he going in on people. I don't participate in it, and that ain't no knock against Johnny because, like I said, I like it. And, I tell him what up, but I enjoy it. Miss 504, you know. When she pulled that flamethrower out, baby, let me tell you, she burned that flesh and she get to that soul. I enjoy her content. I'm in her chat all the time, joking with her. You know what I'm saying? Even when she going off on people, I'm joking with her. You know, so yeah. But they both give you insight of life. Like I said, Johnny, one of them old throwback dudes who got morals and values, and he ain't bending or breaking for nobody. You can't do nothing but admire that. Miss 504, she got a hell of a story, inspirational story, and her insight is very unique when she talking about different subjects. She hit it from angles that only a person who been through some shit and understand life can give you. That's why I appreciate her insight. And like I said, neither one of them just strictly talk about beef. So they giving you other content too. That's what's important. So, it's other people that I watch too. Um, they might be doing the beefing thing for a minute, but they give you content too. They give you their insight or perspective, and I admire that. That they can turn the switch on and off. Me, I can't do it. I see a target and I want it gone. So that's why no, I don't get into all that. That's not my lane. Like I said, I can joke and roast, but it's never with the intent to hurt no one or um, defile anyone. It's just good, fun jokes, like you do amongst family. That's how I like to roast. I'm not trying to roast nobody to make them feel bad about themselves or to make them look bad on the internet. I can't do that. I can't do that. And if I ever do that, let me know because that's not my intention. My intentions are just to have fun. And, I might say something that I might think that person not sensitive and they be sensitive to it. So, we only human, but my intention is not to hurt nobody. I've been out here rambling for an hour. Ain't none of my people came in. I had two people in the bushes. Y'all don't want to say what up though? Or even if you don't, I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all coming through, listening to a brother ramble. Like I said, I didn't really have a topic. I talked about why I don't debate religion, but I kind of like if y'all want to have discussions about it, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind having a discussion about a question that people have. Because, like I said, I do have a pretty extensive experience studying and practicing. That's the important thing that I found out a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't actually practice the religion. And I think if you practice it, you'll get a deeper insight of um, of what it has to offer. I've been in debates where people debated the Sabbath, but there's a reason why um, you should shut everything down on Saturday and not Sunday. Appreciate you, Jay Jordan, and that's another content creator I enjoy. When Jay, I'm telling you, when Jay Jordan is inspiring on many different levels. So when y'all get a chance, please check out Jay Jordan. I'm gonna put you and Kalani. I'm gonna put y'all link in the description. But Jay be having them battle ropes, man. It be 9 o'clock in the morning. He going at it, man. That junk is inspiring, man. I can't exercise right now. I got about another month before I'm clear, but I'm definitely gonna be. I'm gonna have to go get me a rope and jump rope with Jay and Kalani. Like I said, Kalani is one of them pages where great music, but he promotes other people. He supports, and that's not, and a lot of that is not really done like that no more. But it's people who do it. Some chats you can't even go in and mention people's names, but Kalani put your link up, and I just appreciate both of them brothers. Like Jay came in and said he shared the stream. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm grateful. Um, but yeah, I was just speaking Kalani about a random thing. That's my thing, I guess. I just get on here and talk about all the little crazy things that go in my head and just my different perception of life. And like I said, my way, I just share information. And hopefully, like I said, like in martial arts, I studied 3 different martial arts. And I tell people if you try to do Wing Chun in a street fight, you gonna understand why you only use it in competition real quick because it doesn't translate. But it's certain movements, it's certain um, forms of the discipline that you can use in a street fight. So just like martial arts, I do the same thing with spiritual and religious practices. What I can, I use what I can use to become effective in life. Like even when I teach self defense, is a little bit of Wing Chun. I'm a big component of Brazilian um, kickboxing. I mean, not Brazilian. I apologize. From Thai kickboxing and Taekwondo. But like I said, um, a lot of those martial arts only work in a setting where it's competition. You try to translate that into street fight, and you will be um, really disappointed rather quick too, especially if you fighting somebody with experience. But that's what life is. We should take the things that work for us, share information with one another, and take the things that work for you and let go of the rest and move forward. I think a lot of times, like even sharing information, we think we got to do it the exact way a person does it. And when you learning something, yeah, follow the blueprint. But once you done figured it out, you'll understand what works for you and what don't. And in life, that's what we got to do. We got to use what works for us, and the rest of it, I ain't gonna say throw it out, but don't worry about the rest of it. And I'm still learning that. I'm still learning how to do that. Everything is a process. And that process shouldn't be rushed. I think, especially in today's age, we look for instant gratification. And a lot of times that instant gratification comes with a cost. You know, it comes with a cost. But when you take your time and build something, the foundation is solidified, is solid, and you can continue to build on top of it without worrying about it tipping over. But that instant gratification, foundation ain't even settled yet a lot of times. You know, like I was been in the business world for 10 years, selling real estate and life insurance. And I had this grand idea about starting my own property management company. And I didn't take my time and do it. That's why I'm sitting on here talking to y'all now. I wouldn't have been on here not talking about life. I'd have been talking about real estate. It was that instant gratification and the opportunity. I seen the opportunity. Somebody who been doing it longer than me. I trusted them, but that's how you learn. It was a risk, but it didn't hurt me. It just kind of showed me why you gotta build things slowly or build it the correct way. Sometimes it can go fast, but take your time. Understand when you building something. If it's like even with this YouTube channel, like I said, I could have took some shots at people and got some followers, but I'm not that type of people I want. I want people who genuinely want to share, want to build, and just positive people. That's what I want. So if I'm getting followers from people not liking other people, I'm not building the right way. So I'd rather build slow. I'd rather build slow. And I'm learning that, and I'm seeing how effective it is from people like Kalani, like Pops, like Nate, like Jay. Jay got a good channel. I was looking at the way he built his, and it's just positive, man. You can't help. That's one of them brothers you see. You just can't help but to smile. You know. So yeah, if y'all watching this on the playback, please make sure you check out the Jay Jordan, because won't be disappointed. He offer a couple things. He play music. He got the exercise thing going on, and he got the gaming thing. I was watching you the other night, bro, on the Ovilus. Yeah, I was checking you out. I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, sometimes like when I be on daddy duty, I don't be having my hands so I can just watch. But I make sure I hit that like button. But yeah, I'll be watching you play the Ovilus. But that's what life is about. And when you do the right thing, a lot of times the right people, you find yourself around the right people when you're doing the right thing. And just the opposite too. When you're doing the wrong thing, you tend to get the wrong people around you. And that's a lesson I had to learn in life. You know, um, and I learned it. And I'm trying to share that information because, and then I understood this too. A lot of times when you try to help people, you can't help everybody. So that's why I use the notion I come on here and share information, because when I share information, if the people willing to accept it, I don't have no emotional attachment to it. So if they accept what I give them, then it's beneficial for both of us. But when I try to help people, a lot of times I put too much of myself into trying to help them. And when I do that and they don't receive the help, or they're not ready to be helped, then I end up putting myself in a position that sometimes it's hard for me to get out of. So I had to learn that the hard way too. But that's life is the best teacher that we got. It's just us to understand how to learn from the experiences that we have. Because a lot of times that's why we make the same mistakes over and over because we haven't learned. A lot of times we don't learn from the same mistakes over and over. And then sometimes, like me, I always take accountability, especially no matter what. I always take at least my part that I played, even if it was me allowing someone to put me in a position or allowing myself to stay somewhere too long. I take accountability for that. And I don't play the victim. Well, this person did this to me. This person did that to me. How did they do it to you? Well, I was naive. Okay, take accountability because once you do that, you'll understand where you messed up at to allow this person to take advantage of you. It's not good to ever really play the victim. And that's not saying people can't do things to you, but what I'm telling you is even when someone does something to you, always take accountability and look at how you could have prevented that because it's gonna happen again and you just go play the victim again. I fell into that. I felt that these females, because I'm being good to them, they took advantage of me. I was leaving myself open, and I knew that at the time the females wasn't good for me. I was just having fun. But until I admitted that, I made the same mistake. Three of the same type of females back to back to back. That's because I ignored and I didn't take accountability for selecting the same type of women. It wasn't their fault. That's just how they are. It was my fault. Now, that's not me saying or blaming myself for the stuff they did to me. I'm not blaming myself for that. What I'm saying is she had the same traits as this one. She had the same traits as that one. And I had so much fun with them. I was willing to ignore all the other stuff until it happened. That's me taking accountability. So I understand, okay, yeah, they might be fun, but that's not for me. because I ain't gonna do nothing but get hurt. So I had to learn that. But I appreciate y'all coming out. Like I said, man, y'all rocking with me. I appreciate that. I'm grateful. But I'm gonna jump off. I'm here in Michigan. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna have to get these babies up in a couple hours. But I'm gonna have a topic tomorrow. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna just let the universe inspire me, and that's how I usually rock with this. But I appreciate y'all. But it's the word. That's all I got. Y'all take it easy. Have a wonderful night.